So, authentication and authorization. You've probably heard these words thrown around all the time, especially when we talk about digital security. And yeah, they sound almost the same. But here's the thing. Confusing them can lead to some pretty big problems. Today, we're going to make the difference between them crystal clear.
And look, it's a totally fair question, mostly because they work so closely together. I mean, every single time you log into an app, a website, or even your work network, both of these things are happening in the background. But here's the catch. They're doing two completely different jobs. Getting this right is really the key to understanding how our modern security actually works.
If you boil it all the way down, this is pretty much the whole story in one sentence. Authentication is all about your identity. It's proving you are who you say you are. And authorization? That's all about your permissions. Once the system knows it's you, what are you actually allowed to get into? So let's dig into that first part, identity.
Okay, so first up, authentication. You can think of this as the front door to any secure system. Before anything else can happen, that system has to answer one single fundamental question. Are you for real?
This is basically the digital version of a security guard asking to see your ID. The system has a guest list, right? A list of approved users. Its number one job is to check your digital credentials against that list to make absolutely sure you're not an imposter trying to sneak in. And yeah, really, this is the question at the heart of it all. Every single time you see a login screen or use your fingerprint or type in a password, this is what the system is asking you. It's the first big challenge it has to solve before it can even think about letting you in.
So how does the system actually do this check? Well, it asks for your credentials. These can be something you know, like a password, or it could be something you are, like your fingerprint or your face, or even something you have, like your phone that gets that one-time code. Heck, even when you click Sign In with Google, you're just letting Google handle the authentication part for another service. It's all about proving it's you.
All right, so the system has authenticated you. It knows who you are. You're past the front door. But what now? Well, that leads us right into our second big concept, authorization.
Here's a way to think about it. If authentication is the bouncer at the front door checking your ID, then authorization is the set of keys you get once you're inside. Just because you're in the building doesn't mean you have access to every single room. Authorization is what decides which doors your keys can actually open.
At this point, the system is done asking who you are. That's settled. Now the question completely changes. For every single thing you try to do, whether it's viewing a file, deleting a photo, changing a setting, authorization is humming along in the background asking, okay, does this person have the right permission for this specific action?
Just think about your own email account, right? You are absolutely authorized to read your emails and upload files to your cloud storage. But you are definitely not authorized to see the system's admin dashboard or, read someone else's private messages. Authorization is that invisible wall, constantly checking permissions with every single click you make.
To really make these concepts stick, let's use a super simple real-world analogy that I think you'll get right away. Just picture yourself going into the office for the day.
It's a perfect parallel. When you walk up to the front desk and show the guard your photo ID to prove you're an employee, that's authentication. You've just proven who you are. But then, once you're inside, you use your key card to get into your department, but it flashes red when you try to open the server room door? That's authorization. Your identity got you in the building. Your permissions decide where you can actually go.
Okay, so we've looked at them one by one. Now let's put them side by side, head to head. This is where any lingering confusion just evaporates, and you can see how different their jobs really are.
It really is this simple. Authentication is your ID card. It proves who you are. Authorization is your key card. It determines what you can do.
This table lays it all out, but there are a couple things I really want to point out here. First, look at the visible row. You actively see and do authentication. That's the login screen you interact with. But authorization, that happens completely invisibly in the background. And maybe most important of all, look at the order. Authentication has to come first. You can't give someone permissions until you know who they are. They're a 1-2 punch, not a choice.
All right, let's put all this together and apply it to a real-world example where the stakes are super high. Something we all get, your mobile banking app. This is where the security duo is absolutely critical.
You know when you log in with your password and then the app asks for that 6-digit code they just texted you? That's multi-factor authentication in action. The bank is being extra sure that you're really you. Then, once you're in, the system immediately switches over to authorization. You are authorized to see your own balance, transfer your own money, but you are absolutely not authorized to see my bank account or, approve a loan for yourself. That's authorization protecting everybody's data.
So, if we're going to wrap this all up, here are the 3 things you absolutely need to remember. Authentication verifies who you are. Authorization validates what you're allowed to do. And most importantly, authentication always, always, always comes first. Seriously, if you take away just one thing today, let it be this sequence. You have to prove your identity first, and only then can you be granted permissions. It's that simple. So there you have it. The digital bouncer and the master key system that quietly runs so much of our online world. Now that you know the pattern, I bet you're going to start seeing this security pair at work absolutely everywhere you go.